Hello, and welcome to the Fast Forward Amy Show. The show where we talk about how you can live your life and business with simple strategies. I'm Fast Forward Amy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode every Tuesday. Have you ever thought to yourself, well, Amy must have a lot of business success because she has so many followers, or I can't start selling my offer until I have more than 1,000 followers, or I need 10,000 followers so I can have swipe ups, so I can redirect people to my landing page and sell stuff to them. Blah, blah, blah. Have you ever thought, I need a shit ton more followers before I can actually start doing stuff that will move the needle? If any of those thoughts sounded familiar to you, then today's episode is perfect for you. Because today I'm gonna talk to you about why you don't need as many followers as you might think you need, and also what I would do if I would start all over again with 0 followers, no budget, and no audience whatsoever. And if all of that sounds interesting, then you'll be glad to hear that although you might not need as many followers as you might think you need, I did create a list of my most favorite growth hacks for your Instagram that you can go and grab through fastforwardamy.com/IG growth hacks. And this is episode 76, so that means that you can find everything about this episode, all of the resources and tips I'm gonna be mentioning through the podcast blog, which is fastforwardamy.com/76. And if you're ever in doubt or you're walking or, I don't know, cooking while you're listening, know that in the description of every episode you can always find all of the resources you need. Before we start, know that you don't need a lot of followers in order to be a success. If you want a lot of followers, you can go and grab those by, I don't know, being on the Bridgerton TV show, joining the Bachelorette, going on a TV show like Temptation Island or Too Hot to Handle, I don't know. You can go and grab a lot of followers there, but followers don't equal success in business. And I hope that you are here today to create success in your business. So know that quality is not quantity and that you can actually get a lot of revenue through your Instagram page, for example, with only a few hundred people following you, okay? That being said, I do want to talk to you about what I would be doing if I had 0 followers and would have to start all over again. I actually thought about it a few weeks ago, like, how would I feel if I got hacked and had to start all over again? I would be fairly excited because I would be able to apply all of these principles that I've learned throughout the years through trial and error and do it right from the get-go. And that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to help you do it right from the start, okay? So here are my key principles that I would be applying if I would have to start all over again with no followers, no network, no budget, nothing. One of the first things that I would do and that I know scared me off a lot in the past is actually being very concise about what I do. So what I mean by that is when we start out, we have this tendency to try to please everyone. We want to be vanilla. So let's say you start out as a fitness coach. The way I started out, you might be like, yeah, I can help you lose weight. I can help you gain weight. I can talk about strength training. I can also make you running programs. I don't know what all of those things are, but it's kind of the same as in your business. In the beginning, you want to please everyone, whereas your specialty might lie in one more specific niche. And on Instagram, even though you might have figured it out in your business that you only want to coach people with strength training, you might still be trying to please everyone because you think that that is going to get you a lot of followers. But when you try to appeal to everyone, you kind of appeal to no one. When you try to be very vanilla and please everyone, no one is really going to love you or hate you. And it might be really weird that I'm telling you to get some haters. I'm not saying per se that you need to get haters, but you want it to be something that is so specific, like, yeah, I strength train girls who just got out of college and gained the freshman 15, I don't know, because you want the girl who sees that to forward that to her friend and be like, hey, this is exactly what we were talking about. So a lot of stuff on social media tends to get too complicated. People tend to overcomplicate all of the strategies. And in its essence, you need to think about what would I tell my best friend. Let's say you have a friend who just told you she's really suffering from her birth control. She wants to get off it. And you see this doctor online who's always posting about what birth control does to your body and how you should go about it, what the effects are, the reasons to do it, the reasons to not do it. When you would see that profile, you would remember, oh, my friend was talking about this, and you would forward it to her. Now, if she was just a general doctor on Instagram, you wouldn't really have a reason to forward that to your friend. That's what you want to do with your profile. And the easiest way to do that is by starting out by being very concise about your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is your I help statement. And I get a lot of hate about this because people are like, ooh, everyone's Instagram is the same. Everyone's like, I help entrepreneurs scale to 6 figures. I don't know. And people in the online scene are kind of ridiculing it. But it is very helpful to be very clear about what it is that you do. Your I help statement or your elevator pitch could be, for example, I help moms who just gave birth to gain back control of their abs by giving them personalized at-home exercises. That could be your I help statement. That could be the thing that you talk about in your bio. For me, it could be I help solopreneurs without a team to scale to multiple 6 figures by giving them the tools, and now I'm blanking, by giving them the tools to build up a team and to build out an offer that is scalable. I don't know. The more specific I could make it, the better. And it would be like, ugh, but what if someone isn't ready to scale to multiple 6 figures? Or what if someone isn't a solopreneur, but they already have one person in their team? Will they not follow me? Probably not. They will just look at my profile and still think, oh, this is very interesting. I could learn something from this. I'm going to follow it. But they will know that my specialty is scaling to multiple 6 figures. Right now on my bio, it says, I help entrepreneurs start and scale to 6 and 7 figures. I could probably make that a lot more clear. And if I would be starting out again, I would focus on my best performing offer, which is about starting your business and lifting it up to 10K, and put that in my bio if I'm looking to attract my first clients through online marketing. So I would say I help entrepreneurs who just started out to make 5K a month without spending money on ads. I know, something like that, very specific, and people would feel instantly attracted to that. So this is a long way of me elaborating to tell you, be very concise about what you do. Don't be afraid of scaring off people. Be very in tune to attracting the right people who will feel attracted to what you are saying. So be concise about what you do instead of being broad. And you can use an elevator pitch to do that. Even if you have products, you can still do this. Just make sure that when you look at your Instagram profile, it actually says what you do. If you would be a stranger and you would look at your Instagram profile, is it clear what you do? Make it super, super clear, okay? Then back when I first started on Instagram Lives didn't exist. Instagram stories didn't exist yet, but man, oh man, if I would start all over again right now, I would just start and be like, hello, this is me with my 0 followers. Let me go live every week at the same time, because video performs really well. People get the feeling that they know you instantly. And yeah, I would just create like a series of video content talking about my products, talking about my programs, and actually giving a lot of free advice to people. I know it's scary. And I know there are so many people out there who don't want to go live. And I might, actually, I can almost laugh about this because I have so many clients who are still postponing it, who have followers and who are always like, oh, Amy, I want more followers. Well, are you going live every week? Because 1 hour of your work week, let's say your work week has 40 hours. 1 hour is only 2.5% of your week. Going live 1 hour or even half an hour a week and sharing advice or sharing behind the scenes, whatever, is a game changer for you and your business, especially in today's digital day and age. There's a lot of noise online. So people scroll through text, they scroll through photos. Video is still performing really, really well. And it's a great way for you to practice making videos and making digital content by just going live. What I wanted to say about the fact that it's scary is, if it's so scary for you and you don't want to make live videos, I'm going to call you out on it and say, if you want more clients and you're not going live, if you want to launch and triple your sales and you're not going live, then what are you doing? Then apparently you don't really care about your sales. You don't really care about becoming a success. You care more about maybe failing in the lives. And that's something I wasn't able to afford. When I started out by making videos, and I don't want to make myself the hero in this story, but I do want to give you these stories. When I started out creating content online, and making videos, I remember these videos were like me with a beanie and really long hair and like really bad makeup and my brows were super tinted. I didn't have the option to not do it. I had discovered, oh, video performs really well. I can use that to get clients. I didn't have any money, so I started making videos. The fact that videos scare you are exactly the reason why you should do it, because your competition isn't doing it, but the people standing out are doing video, are going on video, because it's a great way to generate trust. On top of that, when you go live every week, you can use that to like transform it to a podcast or turn those videos into emails, articles, all of that. It's just a really great way to repurpose your content. So if I would start over, I'd be very clear about what I'm doing, then I'd share advice on it in a live every single week at the same time, same day. And well, related to that, I would make sure that I'm always giving more than I'm asking for. So definitely it's important to pitch what you have to offer and to talk about lead magnets and all of that. But before you do that, and this is something I still have to remind myself of every single week, is you gotta give more value than you're asking for. So that means that you want to be sharing more advice and sharing more entertaining, engaging, inspiring, educating content than that you're actually pitching. So let's take Instagram as an example. Instagram is not, it's not a, just your feed is not full of, shouldn't be full of ads. You know, it's the same, Jessica always says this, my best friend, if you would only be promoting your products and programs on your Instagram feed, that's kind of like having a newspaper with all of the articles cut out and only the ads remaining. That doesn't work. People aren't into just your product, just your program. They're into you, in your messaging, in what you want to say. And a great way to exercise that is by trying out educating people online with the stuff that you would usually do in a paid offer. So for example, let's say you have, I'm gonna use a service-based business as an example. For me, for example, I could try and convince people to follow me because my programs are so great, but if someone isn't in my program, why would they follow me? So the best way for me to convince people that my programs are worth it to invest in it is by giving them a lot of free value. So I will be sharing, this is how you can manage your time better. I will be creating free podcasts with tips on what I would do if I started all over again with 0 followers. Give very tangible, very visually appealing, really great advice. Because when people aren't buying what you have to sell later down the line, it's probably because they don't believe that you actually have value to offer to them. So you need to start offering that value beforehand. I'm gonna take an example of a videographer because obviously my videographer is sitting behind the camera right now and smiling at me. When I choose a videographer, I'm gonna look at what have they already done that makes me believe that they can do this job. Are they good at audio? Are they good at video? Will I feel comfortable with them? So I wanna know, who is this person? Is their footage good? Can they do different styles of videos and editing? So that's all stuff I will be looking for before I actually invest in a videographer. This is the same for any other service or advice giving, coaching based thing you have to offer, because people have a lot of ego and people are always inclined to think, I know better, I can just do it myself. Because guess what? Spending money hurts. So people will always try to rationalize themselves out of spending money by telling themselves, you know what, I can just Google it, I can just follow a course, I can just do it alone. So you need to show them why you are much smarter, why you have more to teach them than they could figure out by themselves. And that's why you need to be always posting a lot of free value, so good that you're like, I should really be getting paid for it. Guess what? When you do that the right way, later down the line, you will be getting paid to sell your products and programs because people will already trust that you are a smart cookie. Okay, so offering advice in video, all of that, true, but again, we are there. We only have a few followers. We've probably posted our Instagram to our Facebook page. Maybe we emailed some friends and we're like, hey, follow my new page. We send it out in a WhatsApp group. Definitely start by just attracting your own network. That's fairly obvious. Tell people what you're doing, not because you want to turn your friends into clients, but because you want eyeballs who can then tell other eyeballs about you and send your profile to other eyeballs. You want to showcase tests, is what I want to say. I'll wrap this up at the end, by the way. I know it's a little bit this and that, but I'll give you a recap at the end. So what I mean by that is I would want to say showcase testimonials. So showcase how satisfied your clients are. Show photos or videos of clients who gave you a review and are really happy with what you had to offer, because people can think your advice is legit, but they'll probably believe it more if they see other people saying that. It's kind of called the reference effect, I think. It's like when you start dating someone and you see that you have friends in common, you will reach out to those friends in common to check if that dude is legit. Is he a good dude? Or do you know anyone like he cheated on, you know? It's what you'll do. On Facebook, you'll be like, hey, do we have friends in common? You'll reach out to a mutual friend and check out if that guy is a good guy. People can't really always do that with you and your service or your account. So they will need that reference effect to know that you are legit and you are good. And the way you can prove that people can trust you, which is imperative for selling later down the line, is by actually showing them how satisfied your clients are, how satisfied other people are. But what if you don't have any testimonials yet? I can already hear you saying that, like, Amy, yeah, but no one ever gives me a testimonial, or I don't have any clients yet, I'm just starting out, so I thought this was about starting out, what do I do? What you do when you don't have any testimonials yet is you make stuff up. You don't lie, but you showcase a test, a case. So you will say, here's a situation. Client X walks in and they talk to me about their hormones and they've been on birth control for 10 years. And you just start talking through a case and you talk about how you would solve that specific situation. Then people can actually read about an experience. You don't have to lie. You can be like, this is an example situation. And you can still give them the feeling that they can imagine how you would go about it and that you could get clients that you would go through that scenario with. So I don't know if it's making sense to you, but just make sure that you can actually put the experience, make the experience clear, make it clear how you would treat your clients, and then they know that they can trust you because there is this reference effect. So it might not be testimonials or reviews from other people that you can share, but you can share how you would be treating other people, which will increase that trust factor. By the way, you probably have some testimonials that you can use, not of your specific product or specific program or service in that moment, but of just people you've worked with in the past. Maybe colleagues at your former job, like how did they experience working with you? Ask them. And a lot of people are surprised when they don't get reviews from people, but how full is your email inbox? Mine is full, always. My DMs are always full. So when people ask me an open-ended question, I'm like, nah, I don't have time for this. Like, yeah, I'll get back to it later and I'll flag it as unread. You don't want to do that. If you want someone to do something for you, like write you a testimonial, you want to ask them very concise questions. You want to be like, what would you rate your experience from 0 to 10? What did you like most about working with me? What could have been improved? Like very specific questions, and then ask them like, is it okay if I just format this into a review and ask for your approval before I post it? Then you can grab people's Word vomit, turn it into a testimonial, and just tell them like, hey, is it good that this is the text that you sent me, that I use it like this, and can I tag you in it or mention you? And probably they'll be like, yeah, and it only took them 2 minutes to fill out a form, for example, or answer your questions, and for you it's a very valuable testimonial. Not a lot of people will just send you random really good testimonials. You gotta ask for it, okay? Another thing I would do if I was starting all over again, I wouldn't wait way too long before introducing a lead magnet. So even if I had one follower, I'd be like, one follower, do you want my free training on goal setting, for example? And I would offer my lead magnet to them. I made the really big mistake of growing on Instagram and waiting way too long before offering a free download to my audience. Whereas when you grow, after you've hit a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand followers, you can't always reach all of those people. But as you are growing, consistently offering a core lead magnet that talks about what you do, it's so important. Honestly, I can't believe I waited so long with it, but I have this tendency to overcomplicate things sometimes. And you might have that tendency too. So you might be thinking, I need 1,000 followers before I offer a free download, or I need 1,000 followers or swipe ups before I start my email list. But you should start with it sooner rather than later. So if I would go back and I would have my core business coaching program, the Business Freedom Elevator, which is about starting your business successfully or scaling it to like 10 figures, 10K a month, I would look at, okay, if that's what I want to be selling, what do I need to be offering for free to get leads through the door so that I know these are the quality people I need to pitch the Business Freedom Elevator to. So I'd be thinking like, okay, a training about how to start your online business, for example. I could create a video training about that or a webinar. And even if I only had 10 followers, I would ask them like, hey, do you want this? So I would create a core lead magnet that really is reverse engineered from my offer so that I can test who in my audience is actually a quality lead for that offer. I would start that probably before I even set up my new Instagram account. And the thing is, I did this. I didn't do this on my Fast Forward Amy account. I did this together with my business partner in my other business on Alpha Women. When we started our account on Alpha Women, we were like, okay, we're gonna do this. There's a lot of resources and time that's gonna go into this. So let's do what we gotta do and not let's make the same mistakes as we made. So before we posted anything online, we had a core lead magnet that we were leading people to, and it was about Instagram. We created a core lead magnet. I think it was about creating stories, and a really high percentage of the new followers already grabbed the lead magnet from the start, and then we knew these followers are going to be interested in our Instagram course. So yeah, have a core lead magnet that actually leads to your offer later down the line so that you can already have kind of a funnel set up and you already have control of those email addresses. By the way, I created some episodes about building your email list. I know it's something that seems very daunting. I even have a download about it. It's called Start Your List. So you can definitely find that on the website. I think it's fastforwardamy.com/start your list. If that's something you've been postponing and you really want to get into, just do it. Don't make my mistakes. Just go and do it. This is literally what I would do if I would start a new account today. I would start it and it would have a link in bio that leads to a lead magnet. And I think now my cameraman might be thinking, yes, I'm going to make a lead magnet. He's nodding at me, so he's going to do that. So we talked about be concise about what you do. And I think that's something that came back in all of the points. Like if you start out being concise about what you do, you can go live about concise topics and not be like, hey, I'm gonna go live about my lunch. You would never do that. You would go live about the stuff you know how to teach. Then you'll be giving value about those topics that you said you were gonna solve in your elevator pitch. And then the testimonials you would show also wouldn't be about what a great tennis player you are. It would be about what a great videographer you are. And then when you have a core lead magnet, it will also have to do with video. I could put it out there. Let's say you are a videographer who wants to attract leads for their offline business, but wants to attract them online. Let's use this as a case, for example. So you are looking for people that you can help, for example, recording podcasts with. Probably in the beginning, they won't have the budget to hire you, and they will try to do it by themselves. But if you can get them to a place that they're ready to hire you, that's going to be easy. So you want to help them get started recording their podcast by themselves, but it's still going to be more fun when they have more money down the line. It's going to be more fun for them to outsource it. So maybe you can offer a lead magnet or a training of like 1 hour. This is how to set up your at-home podcast for under €100 with stuff you already own. And if that is your lead magnet, you know who is interested in recording a professional podcast later down the line, and you can pitch them your offer or your time slots later down the line. So we went from being concise about what you do to going live to giving value, really helping people with the stuff you're going to be helping them in a paid fashion later down the line. We're going to be showcasing testimonials or talking about how we would help people. So basically that's what I do in my podcast. By talking about a case, by laughing about the fact that I'm now helping Thomas to create his new lead magnet, you think, wow, this Amy girl, she's making it up on the spot. She must be smart. Yes, if you're in my business coaching program, you will get even more inspired because this is free content. Imagine what my paid content will be like. That's basically what I'm like inceptioning you to do right now. So we went over to offering a core lead magnet, and all of that is bullshit if you never pitch your offer. So that's the last thing I want to talk to you about is if I would start over again, I would never say I need more followers before I can pitch. Literally, the first person that followed me, I would DM and be like, what's going on in your life? How can I help you? I wouldn't straight up pitch them, but you're always selling yourself. So Don't get caught up in playing around on Instagram. Don't get caught up in playing around in your email service provider. Always work back from what you are selling. For me, that is my Business Freedom Elevator program because I want to help people start and scale their business, right? So even when I am creating content about other stuff, I'm selling myself. When I'm creating content about the topics from that program, I'm selling the program. But you are always selling yourself. So that means that you cannot wait to pitch. That is one of the biggest things that I would tell anyone when you start out with 0 followers. Start pitching to the audience you have. Don't wait longer until you have a bigger audience, because by pitching it and by selling your offer, you will attract a bigger audience. So do you think I get more followers from people sharing my podcast or from clients sharing the behind the scenes of our coaching sessions? I get more followers from clients showing the behind the scenes of our coaching sessions because they are super invested. So what they share is also like super precise, like it's a coaching call, Zoom recording with a bunch of people in the background, and their friends will be like, wow, this looks really legit, let me have a look at that account. Whereas when you see a podcast being shared, be like, oh, that looks interesting, or it doesn't, but whatever, there are so many podcasts. So again, there, by getting your first clients, you're gonna get new quality leads in. And that's what I want you to reframe followers as. You don't need followers, you need quality leads, or people who will bring in quality leads. So think of your network as people bringing in new quality leads, and think of your quality leads as becoming clients and bringing in more quality leads. Okay, so we had being concise. That was the first thing we talked about. Then going live, then giving value, then showcasing testimonials, then having a core lead magnet, and then pitching. And what I want to say about all of that is, and this is going to sound super cheesy, but the best time to start doing all of this was 5 years ago. And the second best time to start selling yourself is today. Go on video today, post today, reach out today, pitch today. My favorite quote is never borrow from tomorrow. Don't think you'll do it when. Start doing it now, because you'll learn a lot more from doing it now than from postponing it until perfection, because perfection never happens. So if you want to start strong, I've got your back, because I have compiled a list for you with my favorite growth hacks. I never want you to forget the concept that we want quality leads instead of followers, but I do want you to have the tools that you need in order to grow quickly, like doing lives or working with shoutouts. More stuff like that I've compiled in a list for you. It's called my Instagram growth hacks, and you can go and grab it through fastforwardamy.com/IG growth hacks. And because I am super organized, just kidding, I'm not super organized. My team is though. They've added a link to that and our podcast article with all of the resources in the description of this episode. My name is Fast Forward Amy. I hope you liked this episode and that you are inspired to just go and grab life by the balls right now after this episode, or go and grab Instagram by the balls actually. And yeah, let's get going. I want to see you pitch yourself. I want to see you showcasing testimonials, talking about test cases, and I want to see you adding a ton of value to other people's lives so that you can make an impact and attract quality leads. Thank you for listening, and talk to you next week, Tuesday.